Hi, I'm Julia Bailey with Life Evidence Coaching, and um, I'm hoping you're having a happy Friday. I'm looking forward to the weekend, that you've had a great week. Um, so, I had some neck pain a couple weeks ago now that was pretty bizarre. I couldn't swallow without feeling like my traps were going up into my throat, and um, so it was just this really bizarre pain. It went away. I'm back to normal, but it got me realizing that I wanted to share what the 6 causes of stress are, and the little secret that they're actually sources of stress, but also energy boosters, which is really powerful and provides a lot of opportunity. So, the first source of stress or type of stress that you can experience is a physical stress. We can get too tired, be dehydrated, not be eating the right foods, or any kind of pain makes it really hard to focus. And then on the flip side of that, there's also ways to gain energy physically. And one of my favorites is to go get a workout or eat something really yummy. And by that I mean healthy, right? um, so physical, that's the one that I think a lot of us are the most familiar with, um, and or even just aware of. But the next one I think a lot of us are aware of too is the mental source of stress, making a lot of decisions, um, being active in activities that are either too hard, too easy, not matching our skill sets, not the right amount of challenge. And so, one of the ways that I like to get an energy boost in that mental category is by changing what I'm focusing on and how. So, that might look like having a narrow focus and looking at a more broad perspective, taking a step back and just trying to see the bigger picture. Or maybe I'm at the bigger picture and I need to identify what is the very next step that will move me forward. And that can be very energizing because then here's my action. I'm ready to go. I have the direction, I have the step, and I can take it. After physical, mental, the next one that I'll share with you is emotional. And this one can be kind of tricky because it can be very draining when we aren't aware of what our emotions are and how they're impacting our behaviors and our choices and the decisions that we're making. And so, one of the ways that we can get an energy boost from the emotional category is to find that awareness. What is the emotion? What am I feeling? And name it. And then that's step one. And a lot of times that's enough to get going and create action, moving beyond the emotion or even action that we're more in the driver's seat for. We're not being controlled by our emotions, but we're aware of them and then making more conscious choices. And then the next level would be to express that emotion in a way that you are proud of or you're comfortable with. So that's the emotional category. After that, there's spiritual, and this isn't to be confused with religious, although it can be very compatible for some people. This is really about our purpose, our sense of purpose, our values, and our vision for what we're creating. And it can be a huge source of stress when what we're experiencing isn't in line with our values. Maybe prioritization is off. And so, one of the ways that I like to get a boost here is by creating a vision practice. What do I want to see a year from now, or maybe a month from now? You get to pick the time frame, but really create that vision of what you're working towards, because when you can imagine it, it can become so much more tangible. After spiritual, there's two left because we've gone through physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. These last two, they're less internal than those other four, meaning we don't have full control over them. So first we have the social component. And that can be a huge source of stress when we're interacting with people in a way that maybe is not aligned with our preferences for whether we're an introvert or an extrovert. So maybe we're getting too much interaction or too little interaction socially, or maybe there's conflict and that's causing stress. And so depending on your preferences, this can look a little bit different for you in how you get a boost socially. Maybe it's about finding solitude and having time to yourself to recharge. For me, I know during our, Colorado quarantine period, I would go for walks and walk by my friends' houses, not to say hi or anything, but just to feel that much more connected. Just a little bit of connection there really actually made me feel quite a bit better to know that they're close, and so whatever it is for you, that's an avenue to go as well. And finally, the sixth stressor or energy booster is about your environment. So pay attention to your senses. Is it too loud? Is it too quiet? Is it too hot, too cold? And what is distracting you from what you're trying to accomplish? A lot of times I don't necessarily feel the environmental influencer as a stressor, but it's one of my go-tos for getting a boost. And the way that I do that is I have a playlist that I use for when I want to work and focus, and I also have an essential oils diffuser, and I use bergamot in that because it reminds me of my favorite caffeinated beverage, which is Earl Grey, and it feels like a dose of caffeine, even though it's really just igniting that sense of smell and that connection. For me, making the connection, it's time to get to work. So that's what I wanted to share, a real high level overview of what those 6 stressors and boosters are, and that if you know what they are, then there's a lot of opportunity available to start increasing or enhancing the quality of your energy, using the boosters and identifying where your energy is going or how it's becoming stressful for you, so that you can start to mitigate some of that. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to connect with me, you can do so on my website, lifeevidence.com, or on my page through Facebook. I'd love to hear from you. Have a great weekend.